if you are making sense whatever you are doing and you are doing it for 2 to 3 years at least, I think thing will fall in their plate.
Samkit Sharma is the founder of Hack2Skill, India's largest and fastest growing community.
Hack2Skill is an innovation management platform and product evangelism platform. I never thought that I will create a 100 crore company. I always start, let's solve this. I think there are a lot of jobs available in the market. The only problem is we are not interacting with the right set of skilled person for the job. That kind of approach that they can do their hands on various domains is lacking. And no one wants to go to these technologies, niche domain and all. That is the lacking. That thought process, I think we have to change. Hack2Skill is more an AI platform where the action happens, where it is a global platform. Right now, how we are seeing to this new generation is, are they able to well communicate or not? That's a key thing when it comes to AI ecosystem.
Hello and welcome to Dinis Guarda YouTube podcast show, once again powered by citiesabc.com, wisdomia.ai, and businessabc.net. In this series, we've been profiling the makers, the doers, and the personalities that are shaping everything around the way we see the world and the way especially we deal with our society when it comes to business and technology. And probably my biggest focus is how we can bring these fantastic tools that are our technology to make and empower our society, and especially our young people. Education is a key for me as an educator myself and researcher, but as well as a father and as a human. I believe that the focus between technology and education is going to be more important than ever. And before we kick in, I just want to highlight the research that I think it's really key that is missing in a lot of the parts. And I think it's key for the interview today. As we accelerating humanity with technology, we have one thing that we have to contemplate is that we look at the mismatch between humanity capacity to build technology and the humanity engineering part to assimilate technology. And as we deep dive into accelerated technology, we have to understand how we're going to be leveraging the levels of the accelerating mismatch between our evolutionary organic bodies and our humanity. And especially, this is more important for the interview today, is how universities can actually look at this. I just want to highlight this research. Our brains evolved from a simple word, rapid technological progress, and this is overwhelming our biology. So it's one of the topics I want to highlight in this fantastic interview we're going to have with Samkit Sharma. Samkit Sharma is a young entrepreneur that from the India to the world has been building a fantastic community, specialized in innovation management, product evangelism, and technology-driven building community. Samkit Sharma is the founder of Hack2Skill, India's largest and fastest growing community that connects over 5 million technology innovators, including startups, professionals, freelancers, and student innovators, and bridges the gap between emerging talents and the industry, fostering an ecosystem for collaboration and growth. Hack2Skill has partnered with over 10,000 institutions, including IIT and NITs, engaged with more than 10,000 startups. The platform has hosted over 1,000 hackathons, generated 25,000 ideas, trained more than 75,000 innovators, and organized 5,000 boot camps, and has been working with brands like Google, Microsoft, Samsung, Unilever, Snap, and innovation organizations like Ben Gorsley, projects, and others. Hack2Skill is also a platform partner of the world's largest innovation model, Smart India Hackathon, run by the government of India. And the event is a premier nationwide initiative designed to engage students, in solving some of the most pressing challenges facing every day. Hack2Skill has as well collaborated with the likes of the International Cricket Council for immersive solutions for the 2023 Cricket World Cup, and with the Election Commission of India for developing a digital voting solution. And from Samkit Sharma as well, a bit of personal background, he co-founded as well Incubate Ind, a platform aimed at nurturing the next generation of entrepreneurs through a combination of workshops, mentorship, and networking. Prior to this, Sankit co-founded the Exponential Growth Ventures, where the focus is on building world-class organizations by tapping into grassroots talent in India. And he held leadership positions previously in ventures such as Vice President of LanCraft and Director by Indolympix, the World Olympiad, promoting sports and identifying future champions. So it's a fantastic achievement. And Sankit, welcome to our series. I'm very excited to have you here as both passionate about India, but as well celebrating education and all the possibilities that you're bringing to reality. So welcome to our series.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dinesh, for inviting for this great podcast. I've been seeing your multiple podcasts and the great work you are doing for the ecosystem is fantastic.
No, my honor. And I think what you do is your energy and your achievements are really impressive to say less. So let's start a bit about yourself. So a bit of your personal background. And as well, I think as a person that is building one of the biggest communities in the world, what made you build this? Okay, so I always like to go through the basis, because one of the challenges right now when we speak with people is, okay, people get overwhelmed, especially with technology, and you are pushing the overwhelming to put a lot of people doing great things.
Yeah. So when I started, I came from a very small town in India. And when I go to this, even a metro city of India, when I started my studies and all, for a higher education, for in my college and academics and all, we used to learn about coding, about technology, which is far like 10 years behind. And all this made me think about how we can compete the world. India, and if we are talking about India, India is already 20, 30 years behind, which people normally tells, and we are already learning 10 to 20 years what happened in the past, especially with the coding, especially with the what kind of a technology and resources available at that time. So I was thinking, why can't we have the latest technology? Why can't we have the experience? All the even for me, all the developers, all the innovators can experience the latest technology. From that, it was always in the mind, and startup and entrepreneurship was always be there, starting some ventures like so I was a national taekwondo player also, even a gold medalist and a black belt, and the journey was always to do something on a sports, and then my interest lies towards computers and technologies and innovations and all, and this is how things has been kicked in, starting with like a very small venture of a bottling, a water bottling, and then starting with a company where we are training the grassroots at a very young generation on a very sports, like tie-upping with Australian, I will say, coaches and all, and started those journey with that. And when I was in the college, in my university, I get to know about, and I was very enthusiastic about the latest technologies and all. But what we are learning on the books, again, nothing, no fault on the college side, no fault on the education system. But what we are learning, it is like outdated. It is totally outdated. The technology, the coding we are learning, it's completely outdated and all. And from where I thought that why can't we have the latest technology, and not even the technology, I will say experiential learning is what needed for the ecosystem, where they learn some technology, they build something, and they test out in the market so frequent so they can get their knowledge, get the test out what they have learned and all in the ecosystem. And that gives a roadmap for the success or roadmap for the innovation ahead. So that was the idea came in that I just founded Incubate IND. That was a very offline version of what we are doing right now, typically based on the offline Incubate IND and all. And then with my other partners, I've been doing a good work and then typing with the good companies and all. And when the COVID hit, we wanted to part away, and then the thing started cooking with Hack2Skill. Hack2Skill more into like an innovation platform where one side innovators and developers are experiencing the latest new technology, and on other side companies like Google, Microsoft, and even companies who are developing their internal tech are accelerating innovation using the platform. So with my, I will say, team members and all, one is the Kaushik Roy, who is CTO and CEO right now. He's one of the, I will say, the best player or best team member with me. And another team member is Shivam Mishra, who's we are all three together, sit and created this Hack2Skill. And others also join in the journey along. And then all the movement is to give the right set of technology and experience a new technology to the young generation. That was the whole idea.
So one question I have, and this is very amazing, and I've been going to India since I was 20, so India is very, well, very special for me, but as well, India changed massive. And I think your generation already saw a different India. I think you're still probably in the transition. But I want to go to your village because I know that this is very, I come from a village as well, so I always respect people that come from villages. Of course, the village in Portugal is different from a village in India, but it's still the same fabrics, the same tribes. So from your family, from your parents, what was the thing that brought this entrepreneurship and this initiative part? Because I think it's one thing that I see even in my family, and I'm from a family of entrepreneurs. I'm probably the only entrepreneur, at least in my brothers. So I see that there's a challenge. Sometimes there's something that comes from each of this person. Sometimes it comes from a family. I want to understand that because I know India is super entrepreneur, but that's 1.45 billion people. So it's not the conventional part. So a bit of that background. I think it's important to share this with our audience, especially young people listening to us.
Yeah. Family side, we always from a business family. And one thing which my father and even the entire family taught me is it's all about networking. It's all about people. It is nothing. It is never be about money first. It is all about people and all. From that, and in a small city, you have a limited resources. You have a limited everything. When I go to this I will say a metro city, and then I started traveling around the world. It gives me opportunity to know how what are the capabilities and all. From a small, I will say, town, you are limited to the traditional business and the traditional whatever happening there. But when you go out, I think, and that's a game changer for even my family member also. They send me to the New Delhi first for my higher studies and all this started cooking with how the ecosystem, how the society I've been in. So this is how I will say the family support is always there. And one thing they taught me is you have to do something of your own if you want to impact in the ecosystem.
Well, that's very special and it's beautiful. I think it's the most important things we need to pass to new generations. I think for everyone, even for ourselves. So I think one thing, so Sankit, you have a fantastic background from entrepreneurial, from really working with big corporations. So let's start a bit about your career. So from the career you start in leadership positions from the university, and I'm particularly interested if you could highlight the work in Indolympix, which I really am
Yes,
very
yes.
focused of using sports and engagement gamification into technology. So tell us a bit about that and a bit about your career before we go to the major right now project.
Yes. So that time I was in university when I started a company which is called Olympics and all. The major focus was so that time Olympics was started. If I remember, it was around 16 or 15, 2000. And Olympics was started. And I see that the India is a huge populated area, and we don't have even good gold medals and silver medals and all. And we saw that let's go into the grassroots. Let's see what happening when they are training when they are very young. And we find there are a lot of gap on a training part. People don't know what to eat, how to train, how to do anything for their particular sports and all. So we tie up with Australian coaches, we tie up with even Chinese coaches, US coaches, and come up with, I will say, SOP how to train when they are at their grassroots. So from that, we started few of the projects with, I will say, the national or maybe the state association here in Gautam Buddha Nagar, where I was living, and then we kick off some project with them to how to train, and we captured only three sports. All these three sports, we just put up whatever the knowledge. That time we don't have all chat GPTs and even internet having a limited, I will say, resources on how to train, what to eat. I will say customized plan for the participants or who are the sportsmen and all. So this is how things has been kicked in. We did a project. We earned some good amount also from there. And then I thought more inclined towards the technology, and slowly we just shut down because there are a lot of challenges which we thought we could not able to solve it.
Yeah, but it's still a fantastic achievement, and I think it's something that I will push you personal on that, but that's separated. But it's really
Yeah,
I
that's
believe that yeah, one note that I want to confront is, and I think is interesting for your hackathons and different things, is what I feel right now is that there's one element missing in education, and even in technologies, that is, as humans. For instance, you mentioned a very important thing. We have this facility of building relationships. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But there's a sense of, okay, like you said, it's never so much just about direct money, especially in India and Asia. I think in the US it's much more directly to the money. But I think one thing that is missing is the sense of gamification and the sense of play in the good way, not play for, because at the moment we use gaming. There's 3.5 billion people playing games every day, but they're doing it not really to learn. They become like zombies. And this
yeah.
is the concept of digital obesity that I think is really not good. So coming back to this, so from building these projects, you build then the exponential growth ventures. So tell us about this, and as well, you after that created the incubated Ind. So tell us about this
Yes.
project, because I think very interesting this and whatever is going still on this project.
Yeah. So exponential growth venture was part of this particular Indo-Olympics only. We thought that in India, where there is a lot of hierarchical system, when it go to sports department, if you want to engage anything, everyone should know about you. So we thought that if we go to any department or any even a sports person, people should know that this is something. So it was a marketing, I will say, move when we created Exponential Growth Ventures. We wanted to do a larger marathon and lot of things in the sports and all. It was more into to get to know about people that we are lacking in sports and what are the key elements which we are lacking on the sport. So more into, I will say, marketing those lackings of sports. We created Exponential Growth Venture, and apart from this, we were thinking, let's support few of the startups. Let's create a fund out there and support few of the startups who are working in a sports industry. For example, someone is creating how they can train well, how in any of the sports. So we wanted to go to and knock the doors of few VCs and saying that this is a startup and doing something on the technology part. And it was a very I will say initial phase. If you don't imagine, I was only 22 or 23 when I started this exponential growth venture with a larger dream in mind. I don't know how things will work and all this learning, all the relationship with all the I will say investors and philanthropists and all that give me that push to switch from sports and to go to the technology part, because my way of thinking that time was India was, I will say, technology exporter, and I thought that maybe India cannot do good in sports. I know that was my thought at that time. But after that, when I see that there are a lot of companies and we are exporting this IT services and all, so there is a lot of talent which can be engaged in sports are now in IT services and all. So let's do something in this direction. The whole idea is changed from sports to IT, or I will say technologies, is how there are a lot of, so India have, I think, 6 million of the developers right now, more than 6 million of the developers and all. And every year, I think 1.5 million engineers we create every year. So that's a huge number. and 1.5 million engineers we create every year. So I just want to know, let's do something with that. I think, and not everyone get placed. Not everyone will do like their own startup and all. That this is a right, I will say, talent or right market to start something into the innovation factor and all. And then the journey kicks back in when I was in university and reading 10 years outdated syllabus when it comes to coding and technology. So everything was cooking into shaping Incubate IND that time. It was a pre-COVID era.
And that's very, I think this is the most important thing. And I believe as well right now there's a discoordination between these people that are developing and everything happening with AI and everything else. And as well, there's the geopolitical stuff, and geolocation is not just political, it's the location. If you are in India, you have different things that if you are in Europe, or if you are in the US, or if you are in Africa. So continue on your journey. So after this, you created Hack2Skill. So for people listening to us, what is Hack2Skill? How does it works? And tell us about it.
Yeah. So Hack2Skill is an innovation management platform and product evangelism platform. So we are catering two types of I will say organizations and company. One is the tech companies like Google, Intel, Microsoft and all, who is ready with their SDK, ready with their product and all. With the platform, more than 5 million innovators and developers, we are engaging developers for that. So it's an innovation management model. Right now, we are also working very closely with Google, how the AI adoption in India can take place and all. And we are doing this with the gamified version of experiential learning. It's a two thing, gamified version and then a experiential learning, where a lot of offline or in person, or I will say online boot camps we are doing, and we are giving them competition right there so they can compete, and then they can see how they are level up, how they are placed in the AI developers race and all. And then they can take part in various hackathons and judge themselves. So it's a complete, I will say, gamified version of learning where they can not only learn, they can also evaluate where they are standing in the ecosystem of development or ecosystem of AI development and all. So this is how a product evangelism works. Second is the pure innovation management where we like crowdsource all the good ideas. Suppose a company comes and they partner with us and we launch some initiatives with them. We source right set of ideas and then our team nurture it towards the right solution. Again, a gamified version of a competition where people will work on an idea. Suppose how we can accelerate the innovation cycle of any company. So for a company, if they want to innovate, what they will do? They will first create a team of 10, 12 people. They will give them 6 months. They will give them all the resources and everything for them to innovate and all. All this cycle of innovation, we are closing in just a day or two. So and using all those innovators, developers and all, they come up with that kind of solutions and they pitch themselves and all, and this is how we are changing and we are accelerating the innovation for all the companies out there. If you have one problem statement and we come up with 10 best solution to address that problem statement, so company and that 10 best problem statement will come from, I will say, 10 best solutions will come from hundreds of the problem statement solution for that particular problem statement. So imagine the 10 best solution can help them in whatever ways they can be. There are good examples out there. And there are 90% of the case we have, I will say, agreement with the client, so we can't share in the publicly, but few things which are in the public domain and we are love to share and talk about more for those innovation. And these are the frugal innovation. These are the tested innovation. This will work in the ecosystem. This is how what we do.
No, that's a fantastic vision, and as well the implementation, because I think one of the challenge right now that I find with a lot of products is how you bring it to an audience and how we actually build the product with that audience and that ecosystem. So I think some of your numbers are really massive, impressive. So 5 million technology innovators. You have startups, professionals, freelancers, student innovators, universities. For instance, just finished the hackathon in India with 150 universities. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So before that, like you talk about implementation, I will say kudos to my team. I have the world best team members like Kaushik, Shweta, Rohan. I just call out their names because they are the main, I will say, pillars behind this kind of implementation success. Like all this thing happens because of the right team in place, and they all aligned with the vision. And with your particular caution in place, when we keep on doing, our main focus is the right set of ROI and the experience of all the stakeholders. So when we initiate a project, there is, I will say, stakeholders related, which are mentors, jury. On a client side, there are thought leaders, subject matter experts, and all. And then there are innovators who come up with their solutions and all. And that solution will be cooked, or solution will be refabricated when they interact with mentors, when they interact with our own internal team, and then they interact with the kind of competition they will see. And then things come, and then we are the thought leader who know what will work in the, as per the problem statement, what will work for the client and all, and then we push those ideas. And all this work in a competition environment. Everything is a competition environment, because you are catering to more than 2 million of the developers out there, and there are a lot of things you have to do when it comes to engagement, comes to innovation management and all. So I will say implementation is more focus of the ROI. Whatever project we do, we don't want to do just for the sake of executing it. We want to take what thing has been came out from those projects. It is what we are more focused towards. And then all these things make us happy, because any initiative we do with our client, it's like a festival in Hack2Skill. So we do celebrate all the success, we do celebrate what next we have achieved. And I will say this festival feeling of doing project with our clients make us the retention rate of 98%, which no one has in the market. And all those clients bring us more business.
So one question right now that I want to touch. So between the work you do with mostly like the community and the work you do with business, how do you leverage the two things, especially between the hackathons and the work with the brands? Because I think this is one of the things that I think is missing in the universities. For instance, one of the alarming numbers that I've been finding directly through my network in the UK and in London is a lot of top universities are not really pay attention to AI education. I know the Chinese government just put like obligatory AI education for everyone, but I believe in Europe there's still a lot of myths, in the US, that people are afraid. And I'm not, when I say people, I'm talking teachers and universities. And in one end, we have, of course, the education for STEM that is more scientific and more AI driven, or at least partly, not completely. And then you have the rest that is completely still blocking AI is a monster, like even digital. So, and as well, there's digital transformation. So I want to touch this, but especially separating the work you do with the ecosystem of the universities and the students and the developers, and the work with the brands. And as well, you've been working with the government of India as well.
Yeah. So I think we are creating a bridge between both these stakeholders. One is on the community side, when we bring, I will say, experiential learning. And again, experiential learning will be from all these thought leaders and all these technology companies and all. And then gamified challenge from all these big brands and all. So we're creating a bridge between both. For community, it's a great way to learn new technology. For a community, it's a great way to learn about mentorship, to learn about the networking, where they are stand in terms of innovation, where they terms to in terms about what kind of thing they can explore in the ecosystem. On the other side, I will say brands will get good innovation solution. Brands will get, I will say, engagement with the developers. They can actively understand how developers or innovators are thinking about their product. So what kind of things are they are using it. So all this data help, I will say, the brands changing their way in how they behave, how they develop, or how they operate using those data. So data is very much important. And then our platform, the AI-enabled platform, is matching everything. So when a brand come up with some kind of like a problem statement related to AI, or that AI can be solved, all the AI enthusiasts in a community tends to participate in that particular initiative. That particular, maybe it can be hackathon, it can be challenge, it can be anything. And it's not about competing, it's also about learning. So learning element is very much important in this. So it's a win-win situation for both. Here community learns about new technology, community are giving their feedbacks about the program, about the platform, about the SDKs of the customer, of the brands, even products of the brand. They are giving actively, they are giving those feedbacks, and also learning from ecosystem, learning from industry experts and all. And networking is the one way where they are finding themselves, how they are working or how they are evaluating in the ecosystem, and the brands getting good solutions, getting that kind of feedback from the ecosystem, getting the response, how this thing will be work and all. So it's a win-win situation for both, and this is how we are catering both at the same time.
So now let's go, and this is completely subscribed with you. So let's go with the work you've been building, special with the hackathons, because I think it's a massive achievement. So especially the big one you did recently. Tell us about that, the Smart India hackathon, and how you run both your own hackathons with within the government ecosystem, and some of the, I would say, the wins that you got, because I know that you learn a lot and you touch a lot of, especially the methodology. But one of the things that I'm interested is, so at the moment there's a discussion around the AI world that a lot of the jobs will be destroyed, but we know that a lot of new jobs are going to be created. But
Yeah.
this perception is a bit of a paradox, because you and me are, of course, building these technologies and discussing it, but a lot of people don't know. Okay, they don't know how to do it. So there's a bit of a fear, FOMO, and fear mixed with a lot of different things. So from your experience building these super hackathons, what are the major things you can share and you want to share with our audience, especially probably the most inspiring ones, because I think we need to share these good stories.
Yeah. So I will say this AI, and we are now in an AI world, and even no one knows how this will go. While we can relate all this with the movies which we see, which they show how the future will relate and all, but right now, how we are seeing to this new generation is, are they able to well communicate or not? That's a key thing when it comes to AI ecosystem. We are not focusing on, are they are in good in coding, are they are good in XYZs, but are they are good in communication part or not? That is a very key element when it comes to in a developer ecosystem or not. Because right now the new generation will not code. Even you ask to any IT companies and all, 60 to 70% of their, I will say, code is done by any AI model. And now we are focusing on how, and everyone is called about prompting. We are more focused on how they can communicate with this AI models and all the new generation when it comes to. And then we are putting our focus on the algorithm, on how things will work, how the experience will work. And so all this focus, and we are shifting this focus on the communication first approach, is giving us is all the capabilities of exploring new things and all. One of the things which we last year we worked with SEBI. SEBI is, I will say, the security board here, security exchange board here in India. And with the SEBI, we have executed one hackathon. That hackathon is come up with solution how to track the influencers who are sharing the stock prices, who are just like putting a reel that buy this stock, and then inflating the value of stock and all, and misleading the stock prices and all. So all this, the challenge was given to us, and then we come up with the solution, come up with the solution. Again, we work with the team who has innovated that particular solution, but SEBI got that solution, and they able to track those influencer out in the social media. Social media is a large, if you talk about YouTube, Instagram, it's their own world. And then to trace those influencers and all at a real time, it is what the task can be able to achieve. SEBI has banned a lot of influencers and all. Similar in a similar way, we work with ICC. ICC is the body who run cricket tournaments internationally and all. So their challenge is how they can engage the young generation. And with the young generation, it also more focus into the new ideas and solution they can bring and make cricket more interesting. And to make this more interesting, again, we launched the challenge and all, and we got, and one of the idea is the stump camera. So the stump camera and how it is used is the equipment to trace the ball, the equipment to trace the Hawkeye movement in a cricket is a super expensive thing. The ball, whether it hits pad or not, to check that, it's a super expensive thing. And that kind of a technology, which can accurately define the movement of ball, is missing in the local cricket, missing in the even local cricket, local tournaments. How young generation will actively monitor that kind of a traceability and all, because Hawkeye in international cricket, all this Hawkeye and everything is available. But in a tournament, in a small tournaments and all, it's kind of missing. So one of the idea, one of the solution came in is a stump camera. Both side, the stump has a camera, and if the bowler appeals, umpire can simply see this on a mobile phone whether that ball, that trackability of ball is hitting on the stump or not. So this is in a few lakhs, I will say this system was built, and versus it will take millions of money to even get ready that kind of a Hawkeye system. So that kind of, I will say, frugal innovation helped young generation to even trace their activity, trace their bowling movement, and even trace that particular movement in a cricket called LPW out and all. So all these things help, I will say, that kind of a frugal solution ICC to engage with the new generation in technology, in developers and all.
Yeah, this is the key element, and it's really one thing that we have to emphasize much more and take it to the next level. So
Yeah.
bear in mind all the things you're doing right now. So you are still very active, not very active, leading Hack2Skill and Incubate Ind. So tell us about the present and future narratives and what are you doing with both projects? Because Incubate Ind is a super important project. And then from India to the world, because I think India has a big role as becoming one of the leading global economies, but as well as the country with more population and the young population in the world.
Yeah. So Incubate INT is like it was on a similar vision, but more in-person initiative or in-person programs. So we decided in COVID to kind of a shut it off, and all focus is towards Hack2Skill. Hack2Skill is more, I will say, an AI platform where the action happens, where it is a global platform, I will say. Things are happening right now. It's a globally, it's working on in North America and South America. It's working on an entire Asia Pacific region, on a MENA region and all. Hack2Skill is more, I will say, prompt to solving those largest challenges which brands are facing. All focus into how a brands can solve their challenges. And now with the touch of AI, I will say the innovation acceleration has been double or thrice the kind of capacity it can be. So this is how the whole focus of mine is right now into Hack2Skill and making this a world largest innovation management platform.
Fantastic, and that is a great vision. So in terms of, and I want to be conscious of your time as well. So from the work that you did, and I want to touch a bit more on the different elements that you've been pushing. What is your vision? You're still very young.
Yeah.
But I think how you see this going forward, especially between India to the world, because I think it's one of the things I feel, for instance, if you go to the US, they're not conscious about India, and there's still a very, I would say, big image that is not real. and even around the world. Although, ironically, most of the CEOs of the top corporations in the world are Indian. So that's a paradox that in one end we have that, but in one end we have
Yeah.
perception of India. And I have a couple of episodes, recent episodes, where I had the most amazing lack of reality because people didn't go there. People don't know what is happening. So tell us a bit about that part, especially because I know your generation is taking completely different. You guys are further away, but the rest of the world still thinks India in different ways.
Yeah. So when it comes to the entire vision, is any brand in the world, if they start innovation, they think about our platform. That if any domain, it can be when it comes to logistics, it comes to any domain, if they start innovating, they will our brand, or I will say our platform will come into their mind. So this is we want to just replace innovation with hack to skill. This is what we want to do. If anyone wants to innovate and they will get, okay, let's go to hack to skill, and while learning also we will innovate faster. This is what we want to create. And again, sir, it's a big task, big challenge, but think it like in a way we want to replace word innovation with hack to skill, because innovation needs those kind of skills or learning experience also while you are innovating and all. Normally, people will innovate and then they will get to know about their learnings and all. We want to learn them first, ready for what coming to next to their plate, and then they innovate for the future. So this is how we are, and this platform will be large enough. Maybe I will say 20 to 30 million in a year 2 or 3, 20 to 30 million developers, innovators on a platform. So think like a large platform where someone wants to innovate, and that right solution, patching them with the right solution is very much important. There are a lot of things happening around the globe, and if we have the access to the right solution, access to the right innovation, I think this is how the world will evolve. So that is what we want to achieve. That's kind of a bridge we want to make between innovators and the opportunity providers. So this is what the innovation, or I will say the vision, lies towards.
So your vision is to create a platform where technology and innovation are together to drive meaningful change to the world. So
Absolutely.
bear in mind everything that happened, and I think India, I think for me, it's a very special country and continent because you guys have all this millennial wisdom, and as well the variety of cultures, languages, religions, where you all coexist together, and that's the biggest democracy in the world. So we are in a very divided world, and at the same time, the most advanced technology phase of history of humanity. So I want to, as young leader and inspiring one, how do you see this? And how you see as well the message to all the challenges we are facing, and special people listening to us that are struggling as well to find jobs or to get into these things.
I think even when we are also hiring, and I've just sum up what kind of challenges which we are faces. I think there are a lot of jobs available in the market. Lot of jobs available in the market. The only problem is we are not interacting with the right set of skilled person for the job. That's a very, I would say, a large problem is having. And especially in India, in the Asian region, people will, okay, I will get something to earn. I will get something. So we have to replace this something with expertise. That's a main thing. Here in the India also notion is, oh, I will get a job. No one will talk about I will expertise in this field. I will expertise in that field. They always talk about I want to go to Google, I want to go to Microsoft and all, and nothing. That's their ultimate aim is to land up in big companies and all. And even few of the startup who wanna be entrepreneur which I encountered with, they're more focused with I will create big brand, I will create a like a unicorn. They always talk about that. That thought process, I think we have to change. Because when I started, I never thought that I will create a 10 crore company or a 100 crore company like that. I always start, let's solve this. And again, everyone says the similar thing. But when it comes to, and it's a different with job and entrepreneurship. In entrepreneurship, if you are making sense, whatever you are doing, and you're doing at least for 2 to 3 years at least, I think thing will fall in their plate. And in the jobs environment, if you are expertise, if you replace with something with some expertise in any of the domain, and I think people, even then that kind of approach that they can do their hands on various domains is also lacking. Like people will know whatever happening in media, what are the skill set technology happening in the media, but no one wants to go to these niche technologies, niche domain and all. That is the lacking. People should know that there are opportunities available. So our platform will focus on those opportunities which are niche, which are domain agnostic. Any domain you go and you see, and then how people will judge. They will learn first, they will have an experience. That experience will give them confidence whether they want to pursue in this expertise or not. That is the main, I will say, it's a very small problem, but we are focusing into that. They get 100% confidence before going or pursuing for the, I will say, 100% excellence in that particular domain. I
Yeah, I
hope I'm
think
able to answer. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, wise words. And I want to share because you are still quite young. And I think this is really important, passing this narrative to people. So, can you tell us, for people that don't know so much about your organization, both in India or outside of India? My audience is quite global, from Africa to Europe or to US or to Latin America. What is the message that you tell them how they can engage? First of all, of course, we'll put all your websites here and people have the links and so forth, but just coming from you, what is the recommendations and next events or next things you want to highlight as well for people?
Yeah. I think we are more focusing on how it's not about go and go through a video and learn about AI. It's a experiential learning experience when it comes to AI and agentic AI. There are a lot of things happening in AI, and then you should know what kind of a particular domain you should expertise yourself. So this is the time to see and to change your anything to the point kind of a scenario. Any company who wants to innovate, any company who wants to engage with the developer, engage with the innovators, they want to solve their real problems. This is the platform for them to like I will say solve problem and very quick. Anyone wants to accelerate their innovation. This is the platform. They launch their problem. They just launch their domain. Like this is the theme we want to work. This is the thing which we want to do, and I will say the ecosystem, the people, or I will say the contributors and all, the users will tell what they should do the next. And again, you know that right product, right even a service model only work how users want to use it. So if user tell what to make and how to make, it's a grand I will say correlation and connection with all these brands and the users. So this is a message to all the, I will say, brands out there, all the companies and the large organizations out there. You want to scale or innovate faster, Hack2Skill is the platform for you.
Well, thank you so much. So first of all, congratulations, Sankit. What I want to say is you are changing the world, and I think people listen to us. Please go engage with Hack2Skill, learn about what it's doing, check the amazing initiatives, check the hackathons, check the opportunities, and we'll put all these links, all the things you mentioned here. It's been an honor to have you here. I think we'll be the first of multiple. I want to bring much more this element of education and engagement to people listening to us. So thank you so much for being here, Sankit.